Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV in a new edition of our online interview series. We want to get an update from Greenbridge Metals, and David Suda, the CEO, is here with us. David, good morning to Canada. How are you?
Good morning, Jochen. Good to see you. It's been too long.
Definitely, it was really too long, but yeah, really a lot of things were going on, and I'm pretty sure you also had, yeah, first, as I always say, do the homework, and then let's rock it. And it looks to me like you guys really did your homework. I mean, that is really amazing. You had so many news releases the last months, and yeah, maybe you want to give us a short summary, and then we can focus a little bit more into the details.
Yeah, at a very high level, we've had so many things going on, almost too much to really put into one short uh, interview that we're spending
Yeah.
together. But since we last spoke, we've raised money. We put together a package of extremely interesting properties in Minnesota to add
Mhm.
to the already existing property up in northern Ontario near Thunder Bay. So that is, as you know, and Paul, was a nickel focused asset with a historical resource. We actually did field work there. We've flown an airborne survey, and we've got some very interesting targeting coming out of that, which we're excited. We've already press released the findings of some of that work, but we're looking forward to telling the market about what our plans are to increase our understanding and the size of what's
Mhm.
in the ground there in terms of nickel. So very
Mhm.
exciting in Ontario, and of course Minnesota. We have an option on this property package that was in the hands of a private company. So we're really daylighting a huge opportunity. We raised nearly $4 million in the late spring, early summer, and that money was focused on making sure that we completely understand where the opportunities lie. These properties are in the Duluth complex in Minnesota. So all kinds of minerals
Mhm.
in the ground, plenty of historical data to go through. And now we find ourselves in a situation where we've also put out a fresh technical report in September with a mineral resource estimate that actually highlights
Mhm.
titanium. So, we set out to explore. It's not really exploring because we know that there's metal in the ground, but, to expand and develop the resources there on those four properties and find a focus. The titanium element is so exciting because we can go and drill the copper nickel prospectivity that we saw early in our due diligence when we got interested in this package. So, huge opportunities in copper and nickel to follow up on. But
Mhm.
that past work, those amazing intercepts on copper nickel are actually part of a data set that was put together in the drilling of a titanium resource. And so now that we've been looking at that package of data, and have our own mineral resource estimate that actually cites some of the values that you can attribute to these things, we've obviously shifted not away from our focus on drilling copper nickel, but in the process of doing that, daylighting the value to investors, because titanium is different, right? Titanium is different
Mhm.
than other metals. It's a specialty metal. Of course, it's in pretty much everything you use on a daily basis, including for
Mhm.
some people their new knees when they have a new when they have a knee replacement. Um, but titanium is a very interesting metal. It's in short supply. The commodity price has gone up drastically over the course of the last several years, and so here we are with this ability to go and drill uh, what we think are going to be exceptional copper holes as
Mhm.
part of potentially expanding on this titanium resource, which has incredible value. So we've put out a variety of press releases over the course of the summer. I encourage investors to go and look at that news from both sets of properties. And
Mhm.
our plan here is to go and drill in Minnesota to again, hopefully produce some really impressive copper nickel numbers. But at the same time,
Mhm.
our ambition is to come out with a new mineral resource estimate by, ultimately adding resource on the titanium side.
So how many holes do you think you have to drill, or what is the game plan? How many meters? Because as you said,
Couple thousand meters on a target called Titac North. We'll drill some at Titac South, which is where the existing resource is. It was the work that was done previously was done very well. It was drilled by Cardero in the past. And then there was a metallurgical question mark hanging over the ability to extract titanium from the rock that's found there, which is ilmenite. The reason our QP gave us a value on the ilmenite is simply because we're going to do some more met work. So the holes that we drill at Titac South and North will also go to metallurgy. Since Cardero walked away from this resource, there has been a huge breakthrough discovery in the metallurgical flow sheet for this type of deposit. And so basically what was previously looking like it wasn't going to be very economic now looks like it could be extremely economic. So we're obviously going to focus our energies on following up on that metallurgical work. There's a lot of information about that in the public domain, which we do highlight in several of the news releases that we've put out. And so we're going to follow up on that work with the experts that actually did it already. So plenty of really exciting news to come out of Minnesota.
Okay. So what I found also really interesting, let's stick for a second also at Minnesota here. You had in the press release that with those 13.3 million tons of ilmenite, average value of approximately $350 per ton. So
that was the quoted value in the technical report done by the third-party QP. So, we've been very careful not to do that math and put it boldface on the front of our presentation because we are of the view that we have an incredible underpinning value here. And now we're going to set out, continue to drill copper nickel, which is what we told everybody who gave us money in the early spring and summer that we would do. But we want to daylight the opportunity on titanium. It's incredibly large. The number is so big that we want to just go out and methodically de-risk that value. So there was a reason why, obviously, the QP didn't give us a value for titanium. When the work was done, on the metallurgy post the previous party that had done the work, they basically said there's an opportunity to recover 70% of the titanium from the ilmenite. So that number even gets bigger. So before starting to talk those big numbers, we just want to say, look, here's what the tech report says. Here's what the value could be. Let's go do the work. By the way, we have a lot of really positive momentum to follow on, and we're going to follow it with the people that did it previously.
Yeah, which is fantastic because they really should know.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So the question for me is, of course, because this is not really common that you have copper, nickel, titanium together. Yeah, then we talk about vanadium and stuff like this. So is it really complicated to get the metals out of the rock, meaning separated, or is that a standardized method?
It's not a standardized method, and that's why I'm not waving my arms around. The many zeros that would all of a sudden attach to these numbers. For our market cap and for the investors who gave us money to go out and drill copper nickel, we're very happy with, where we sit in terms of the opportunity and the value creation we can approach. However, we need to start to show people that there is a huge potential here for value. So there is a metallurgical flow sheet, which we've seen. Again, it's in the public domain. We are working with one of the key authors and experts who did the work on the tests that they've performed, together with a lab actually out of Canada on what is, currently a test process. So our goal here is to drill, to show that there's value in drilling copper nickel here, but also to, at the same time, de-risk that titanium resource. Not only de-risk it, but increase it, and all the while start doing the work like effectively towards a PEA. right? I mean, that's really what this asset deserves
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and we're going to fast track that process. And once we have a PEA, then people can ask me all the questions they want about,
Mm,
how much can you extract and how much will it cost to build and
mhm.
how long will it take?
Of
And,
course.
those are all questions that we
Mm,
have to answer over the course of the next bit.
yeah. Yeah.
We're far ahead in terms of what we ever thought
Mhm.
we could do here when we started.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you see the time frame for a PEA? When could that be finished?
Oh, I would think we're talking at least 18 months.
Yeah. Okay. So 2026 beginning
Yeah, I
latest.
think
Yeah.
that's right. Because we want to do the drilling to increase the size of the resource.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, we have other things going on too. We're very focused on the titanium piece here, but
Mm,
this property also came with um, four. The package came with four properties.
mm-hmm.
One of the other properties, if the
Mm-hmm.
audience looks at the presentation, has incredible prospectivity in copper nickel and also vanadium, potentially titanium. We've got some pictures of core from that property. It's called Skybo. And we've already announced to the market that we have access to quite a lot of core, like a drill program's worth of core that was stored and never sampled or assayed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already in our game plan to go and sample and assay that core. So our investors will have leverage to what's, effectively a deeply, deeply, deeply discounted drill program.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of levers to pull on. We've been focused on the titanium because there, is clearly a massive opportunity there. But we
Mm-hmm.
just want to keep everybody grounded and to say like that was never the initial focus. We
Mm-hmm.
want to daylight that opportunity, but we're going
Mm-hmm.
to be very methodical and continue to do what we said we would do,
Mm-hmm.
so that we're not a one-trick pony.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think you also have those boulder properties in addition,
Yes,
right?
Boulder
Mm-hmm.
looks like it could be very similar to or sort of an extension of TITAC.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we haven't even formulated our we're not ready to tell the market our game plan in terms of what to do
Mm-hmm.
with Boulder at the
Mm-hmm.
moment,
Okay.
because it's so obvious what we should go do at TITAC.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Super. So there's a lot going on, of course, and really look forward to the PEA. Let's switch shortly to Ontario because I found your press release from 23rd October also really interesting because you have done geophysical surveys and channel sampling and you identified very clear drill targets at the Chrome Punny project. So what's going on there and why is that, how can I say that, so important that you have really clear drill targets?
Yeah, I mean, look, these properties that have historical
Mm-hmm.
resources, often, I love going somewhere knowing that somebody had spent time and money to advance and come to an understanding that
Mm-hmm.
yes, there is metal in the ground. So that's always a great starting point. The trick from there then is to take that information and decide, is it worth taking people's money and investing it in increasing that knowledge or ultimately the size of
Mm,
that resource base, if there's a resource, or the endowment of minerals in the
yeah,
ground.
yeah.
And that's exactly what we've done in the work that we've accomplished by flying the airborne, doing the data inversion, and also incorporating some
Mm-hmm.
channel samples together. Now we know that if we go and spend money with a drill program, it's going to be well spent because we've effectively de-risked that process. We don't want to go out into a moose pasture and drill a hole and hopefully hit. You won't see our team involved in that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This last cycle, this last downturn in specifically in exploration, has shown that there is no room for missing. The market's tolerance for that is zero.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we have now a set of targets, we've done the work, and we have a reason to go and drill, and we will. We'll do that in 2025. Sorry.
Yeah, 2025.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Super. Well, that all costs money. You said you did a financing. So how much money is in the bank? And are you set up, let's say, for the next 9 to 12 months?
Yeah. Yeah. We're set up to accomplish our goals that we stated when we raised the money.
Mm-hmm.
We've also had, we've been very fortunate to have great support from the market. We've traded a lot of volume.
Mm-hmm.
For a junior with our market cap, our share price performance has been tremendous. We've been able to actually bring in some money from warrants, which is not something I can say for a lot of our peers. A lot of warrants just stay, sitting there. From that perspective, I would only say that if we continue to see the kind of support that we have,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody is currently in the money on this thing, from both financings. Again, as I said, we've had some success bringing in warrants. We have great liquidity because of what we now see in terms of the prospectivity of all of these projects.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be judicious, but we would like to get more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So, given an opportunity in the next 6 to 12 months, of course, we would raise money because we see multiple opportunities to create leverage to that money. This is not a company that's, kind of sitting here trying to figure out what do we do with money,
Yeah.
or can we raise money.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we're in the very happy situation of we have a lot that we'd like to go and do.
Mm-hmm. Super. That's perfect. Who are your largest shareholders? What is management share?
Our largest shareholders are the group of investors that recapitalized this on the 10-cent round, where we raised about $1.2 million just over a year ago. They're a couple of family offices out of Vancouver, very successful mining entrepreneurs, who saw the opportunity, frankly, and who were the cornerstone to the just under $4 million financing. Management, I'm the only management, and I have a public share position of over 1 million shares. So,
okay, super.
Look, this is something that,
just the
as you
beginning.
know, and it formed when
Yeah.
when my sort of priorities were with, the development and ultimately the sale of American Future Fuel. So this was something that I was working on because, it was effectively like a side project. And then all of a sudden it got serious.
Yeah. Which is great.
I mean,
and I mean, you have all the metals which are heavily needed, and I think especially titanium has I would say even a kind of a renaissance, because we really need a lot of that, especially with the defense industry, and so we need it also in, let's say, secure areas and secure locations. And Canada is definitely, and the US is definitely something like that, right?
Absolutely. The potential here is just huge. We're talking about a flow sheet on extracting these metals where you're potentially getting copper, nickel, vanadium, chromium. This is going to be a very exciting road. In a met process that theoretically has a tailing that's inert. We're talking about even bringing silica out of it and using that to fill potholes in the road. Like, this is like, it just all fits, Greenbridge Metals. Like, it's truly
makes sense.
This company that, I'm just very excited, and there's a lot of work to do. And can't wait to give you more and more updates as we go.
Fantastic. Super, David. It was a great update already. Thank you very much for that. And I think you guys are on the right path, really. And probably 2025 will be, again, a real game changer for the company.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you very much, David. All the best. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was David Suda, the CEO of Greenbridge Metals. And you heard it, all those really important metals like titanium, copper, nickel, platinum, vanadium, palladium, I saw also on the list here. So that is really fantastic. This is what this company has, and the extraction is working. They are currently, yeah, they have already showed that there is really meat on the bone. Now it's time to really get the stuff more drilled and really to work on a PEA. That's also important. And I think this is just the start of a real great value journey. Really make sure you check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye bye from Switzerland.